Hey there, everyone. Welcome to A Shot of Business Central and a Beer. I'm Ken.
And I'm Michael. Grab your favorite cold brew, kick back, and get ready for a refreshingly fun episode.
That's right, Michael. On today's episode, we've got a packed show for you. We're diving into the latest Business Central news so that you can stay on top of all the game-changing developments in the world of ERP.
Plus, we've got a special guest on the podcast today. We're chatting with none other than Mark Hamblin from InsightWorks. He's going to be giving us the inside scoop on their groundbreaking Quality Inspector app.
That's right, Michael. It's all about streamlining your operations and ensuring top-notch quality. You won't want to miss it.
And for all you tech enthusiasts out there, stick around for our AI snack segment. We'll be diving into the fascinating world of artificial intelligence, discussing the latest trends, and sharing some cool AI tidbits. I won't tell you why just yet, but it's going to be a hot segment.
And here's the best part. We'll be doing all of this while sipping on some ice-cold beers, because who says talking business can't be enjoyable?
So whether an ERP aficionado, a tech guru, or just someone looking to unwind with a good brew, a shot at Business Central and a beer has got something for you.
So sit back, relax, and strap it down. A shot of Business Central and a beer is now.
All right, what is going on, Ken? We're back for another episode of Shot at Business Central and a beer. How you been, buddy?
It's great to be back. I got a little bit of a
Twinge in the throat.
Yeah, a little bit today,
Yeah.
but feeling good. Happy to be here.
Too many beers affecting the old vocal pipes.
That was suggested to me that could be leading contributor. I'm not so sure.
Yeah, well, who knows? Speaking of beer, what did you bring, Ken?
Yeah, so today we're drinking a beer called Hawaii 5 Ale. It's by Destil Brewery here, not too central Illinois, town called Normal, Illinois, not too far from Illinois State University, I believe. And this is it's a blonde ale made with pineapple, coconut, mango, peach, and guava.
Very, very nice. And just by judging from the smell, we've already cracked one open and poured it in a glass and smelled. You get all the fruitiness, the mango, the peach, the citrusy.
And you can taste
yeah,
it
you
too.
do. Oh, you went in for the taste and got one?
Just took a first taste. It's definitely fruity. And this is what's called a fruit and field beer. So when you go look at what's the style of beer, this is kind of a subset called a fruit and field beer. And it's kind of a rare specialty beer. And where either whole fruits or extracts of fruits or vegetables are actually added into the brewing process at some point.
Wow.
Instead of just sometimes the hops kind of make it taste fruity.
Yeah.
Or like that, but this actually has fruit in it.
So this company's doing it right. I'll tell you what, after first taste, I get a lot more of a coconut flavor than I do a smell of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So the ingredients actually, like Ken was saying, is 2-row malt. No idea what that is. Carapils, no idea what that is. Pineapple, coconut, mango, peach, and guava puree. So really, it's pretty
yeah, so far beer. So good. It's pretty tasty. Hot summer day. Right?
What's the alcohol content?
It's a 6.4.
Oh,
so
relatively low.
Pretty good. Right in the
Ken's wheelhouse.
Yeah, 5 to 7. Right there. 13 IBU, international bitterness units, which is very low. Yeah. So it doesn't have a lot of bitterness to it at all. Much more sweet. And usually these types of beers here, I'm more worried about the sweetness of it than the sugar kind of getting to upsetting my stomach.
Gotcha.
A little bit more, than the bitterness.
Yeah, you know what? Though, I don't know if I would consider this a sweet beer. I mean, it's definitely sweeter than some beers, right? But I don't put it in the category of like a Berry Weiss or some of these other,
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
super sweet beers. Like I don't know what the sugar content is of it, but
Yeah, it's pretty good.
got a good score rating on Beer Advocate too, right?
Yeah, I did. What's funny is on one of the sites I saw about just talking about these types of beers, like a fruit and field beer. Usually it says usually these are sweeter than a regular beer. So recommended to enjoy them on their own, since they already have kind of that fruity or, spicy flavor in it.
Really?
But if you're going to pair it with food, consider complementing it with a bowl of fresh fruit, a platter of creamy cheeses, or even alongside a serving of vanilla ice cream. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I get the fruit and cheese,
Cheese?
not the ice cream.
Give me some cheese. Okay, fine. But
not ice cream.
Ice cream? Come
No,
on. Aren't
no.
what are you asking for a sugar coma?
No, yeah, it's you know what it is? It's kind of like a fruity champagne in a way, right? That's what I kind of get from it. But yeah, so I can see a little bowl of fruit, maybe some strawberries, raspberries.
Not too carbonated though.
No,
Not as carbonated as some
Right.
of the beers we've
Yeah,
had.
but ice cream, has anybody in the history of the world paired beer with ice cream that isn't like a beer savant or whatever, right? Normal people.
Yeah, maybe one of your chocolate coffee stouts
I
or
still couldn't
something.
do it. Like over the weekend, I made homemade strawberry Italian ice,
Ooh.
and I couldn't pair this with that.
No, right?
Right,
Yes.
but that encompasses fruit and everything.
You would have one or the other.
Right, yeah, you can't do both. Yeah, definitely not.
On Beer Advocate, a couple couple highlights to focus on. One which was just kind of I thought a good one was, it says very hard to detect much actual beer or blonde ale flavors, which is kind of a downside, but on the positive side said extremely layered and complex stuff here.
Yeah,
which I agree with. One said too many fruits are fighting for positioning here, which is kind of true, right?
Yeah, because
It's like
we were trying to figure out what it is. Yeah,
all these different fruits. They go like, what do you smell? I'm like, I smell peaches, I think.
Yeah,
right.
I think coconut wins out on the tasting.
Was
though.
peach even one of the? Oh yeah, we did say peach.
Yeah,
that's right. Now here's my favorite one. I'm gonna give you a few of the phrases that this person uses, and then I want you to tell me what they thought of it.
Okay.
All right. Strong, buttery, and fruity aromas up front. Tons of butter. Strong and intense buttery flavors. Mostly buttery finish. Overall, buttery is all I can say.
One, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Buttery flavor? Like, no, it's the furthest thing from it. I'm not drinking liquid popcorn here. You know what I mean? But it sounds like, I guess they like it. I mean, they didn't say anything too bad, but I don't get anything buttery at all from this.
Not one other reviewer used the word butter.
Yeah. Like, I think buttery smooth, like popcorn butter or whatever. Yeah, just no.
I did see a beer. I did not get it. And I'm going to say this because I'm not going to get it in the future. It was a kettle corn popcorn beer.
Really?
Yeah. That might be buttery.
It could be.
So
yeah, like, what though, I could see a beer being buttery, caramely, what are those caramel things? Those Werther's Original or something.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be too bad. But so
I guess maybe it just takes all of those flavors, combines them together, and he gets a little bit of a butter hint to it, I guess. Or she.
Nope.
Defunctsta. That's who wrote this. So I don't know if Defunctsta,
what they rate it? What did Defunctsta rate? Is there a rating for them?
Didn't check that. Didn't check that. But
speaking of ratings, though, the score was 84 on Beer Advocate, which is good. And the average rating is 3.72 out of 5. So not bad.
Oh.
And as I was scrolling through comments and whatnot, really wasn't too many. I don't think I saw one hater, to be honest with you, where they scored it a 1. This isn't a real craft beer type of thing.
Right. But it's kind of a cool name, like you said, like Hawaii 5 Ale.
Yeah, after the Hawaii 5-0.
Decently, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a neat looking can, too.
This should be more of a Hawaiian style can, though.
Yeah, overall, but pretty good.
Yeah, we're gonna keep drinking it, and at the end we'll rate it.
Yeah.
What do we got?
We're gonna see how well the Hawaii 5 Ale pairs with our ghost pepper extreme almonds that we have for AI snack time later.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, so next up, what we can do? We got we're talking about some Business Central news, right?
Yep. And here we are for a shot of Business Central, some news and information coming your way. First and foremost, we've got for Business Central Online, users are currently running version 22.3, which is the third update for 2023 Wave 1.
Yeah.
And very early September, we'll have 22.4 being deployed to Business Central Online environments out there. You should have gotten emails notifying you of this upcoming update. There will be included with this 14 platform updates, 84 application updates, and no new features coming out with this that I saw.
Which makes sense considering 2023 release wave 2 is so close. They don't really throw in a bunch of features
right around the corner. Yep.
Yeah.
And if you go online and I think, just do a search for Business Central 22.4. I would recommend if you've been having any issues with anything, you can search for, just do search Business Central 22.4 update. And on the Microsoft page that comes up, if you click on a link for hot fixes, it'll actually show you the detail of all 8,400 of these updates that are coming out and what they pertain to.
Yeah, but it's not very detailed, right? So
yeah, give me a description though. It'll say like, issue with the dimension filter on the budget entries page,
right.
or something like that. So yeah, if you're having an issue in an area, you can do a kind of a search on the page, like maybe something related to fixed assets, and see if that update has any improvements for fixed assets, let's say.
Yeah, not bad. So we'll include a link with that in a link to the 22.4 update. We'll put it in the show notes. So
yep.
Not bad. What else you got?
Well, like you mentioned, 2023 Wave 2 scheduled for October. If you're on premise, those are usually available at the beginning of October. The executable files for you to download from Microsoft. If you're running Business Central Online, usually then that's going to be at the end of October that major release gets deployed. And just kind of two notes. One is here as we sit here at the very end of August or beginning of September, the preview, the ability to go create a sandbox and preview that new version or release is not yet available in the admin center.
Soon, hopefully.
Hopefully soon. And the other thing is just if you're, if we do recommend that you do some review and testing of that.
Yeah.
There are some objects or code new features in there that have some new permissions that could cause issues.
Right.
So we have a list of what all of the new tables and pages and reports and things are. And ideally what you want to do is you want to import or get these permissions set up ahead of time, so that when that new release comes out, you don't run into any permission sets, especially if you have customized the permission sets that you have.
Plus, you always want to check it too to make sure your apps and extensions are compatible with the new version, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah,
more than likely they are.
Yeah, Microsoft's going to run through. They're gonna do a test run before they've scheduled the real update for a major release, and they're gonna give you send an email to the support contacts that you have set up in your admin center, telling you if any extensions or apps are incompatible, so that so they're not even going to try to update it until you get those things.
Yeah, and I don't know how long it is before they actually force the update, but eventually they will. But it's
6 months,
right? It takes a while,
or something.
Gotcha.
Right.
All right. So partners need to act with the GDAP to secure the partner ecosystem. So
GDAP, what's that, Michael?
Granular delegated admin privileges. So if your customer has already granted you delegated admin privileges, which we'll call DAP, you're going to need to replace them with the granular delegated admin privilege, which is let's call it GDAP for to make it shorter. So what's the difference? DAP basically gives you access to all of your customers' Microsoft software. And so once you get delegated admin privileges, you can basically see everything. GDAP is granular, so you're going to have to contact the customer and get permissions just for whatever software that you support as a partner. So if it's Business Central, you got to get like a Dynamics 365 permission, and set up some security, Azure security groups and whatnot, so people in your office can access the stuff. So it's,
as a Microsoft partner, I mean, happy to share that this has caused us some problems this month.
It's going to too.
And right,
if you've got more than 5 customers,
it'll continue. Yeah. So if you're a partner out there, this is something everyone's probably dealing with, just not you. And if you're an end user, if your partner's contacting you, asking you to set them up with rights to do admin, right? Is that something they have to get involved with at all?
The customer?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to approve it. Right. So the big thing though is if you don't reach out to your customers first, Microsoft is automatically going to assign a basic generic GDAP permission to the account, and then assign like 2 different generic security roles, like an admin agents and a help desk security agent security role. So, people in your office, if you're a partner, might not be able to access environments and software to do support. So now the good news is there is a migration tool out there, or not a migration tool, a tool to
bulk update.
Yeah, there you go, bulk update tool. But it looks a little complicated. You got to go into GitHub, download some code, things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got a price change for customers renewing month-to-month subscriptions in CSP. Currently, if you're on the new commerce experience and you're on month-to-month, you're still paying the same price as people who have agreed to annual or triennial subscriptions. You're paying $70 a month or $100 a month for Business Central. Now we're seeing with customers, as the month-to-month renewal comes up, prices are increasing by about 20%. So it's going to what Microsoft originally promised.
Yeah, this is something I think that, they announced this a while back, saying basically what they're saying is to keep the same price, you just have to commit to an annual term.
Right.
And then if you don't want to commit to an annual term, you want to keep your monthly term where you can cancel it after any month, you pay a 20% premium.
Right.
Is how they're positioning this.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I liked it the old way on the legacy system. Add, remove, it was a lot simpler, but it's just me.
Yeah. And sure. Of course, as much more flexibility, right?
Yeah. Over here, we don't have to worry about.
But in this grand scheme of things, I think in terms of this pricing and the annual contract, if you're a Business Central client out there, if you are up and running and you're running Business Central, I see very low risk in agreeing to an annual term. That doesn't mean you should have to prepay the entire year up front. You still can pay monthly for your Business Central subscription. You just have to agree or commit to paying for X number of users
you can't back
for
out.
12 months.
Right.
You could then add more users that are month to month, and you pay the 20% premium if you want those users to be on a month by month plan. But you just have to agree to a 1-year term. The bigger factor comes into if you're a new customer. If you're new to Business Central, maybe you're migrating off of some other system and you're not sure. I don't know if this is the right system for us. Do we really need to commit to a year? The answer is no, you do not. So what we tell people is, look, if you're not sure, why don't you start with a month-to-month subscription? And we'll do a proof of concept project or do some testing and training, and you guys will figure out if this is going to work for you. Are you going to pay, $14 a month more per user during this period? Yes. But if you have 3 users,
right, you can't put a price
during this short term, maybe a couple month project. So you're going to spend $100 or $200 more.
Right.
But you shouldn't need to commit on upfront before you do anything to a year for 20 users.
Right.
you don't need to do that. There is still an opportunity to pay month to month with a low number of users. So just be sure that you're aware that there is still that flexibility. You just pay a little bit, teeny bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And last but not least on my list, got the next Business Central office hours is coming up on September 5th, and it is about performance troubleshooting tools for Business Central. So be sure to check that out. We'll put the link in the show notes. Ken, you got a few things left?
Yeah, just we got about 6 weeks or so till I'm heading down to Charlotte, North Carolina for the Dynamic Community Summit Conference. It's October 16th, I think, or 17th it kicks off. And I'll be leading a session down there on Business Central service management.
Oh.
And then just attending the conference and hopefully being available to help talk to users and do what I can to help the community.
Yeah. Hopefully the weather holds out. I know that's towards the end of hurricane season.
Yeah, and they're over on the west side of the state, so hopefully we'll all be safe and sound.
All right. So next up, we're going to be joined by Mark Hamblin from InsightWorks, and he's going to talk to us about their brand new Quality Inspector app. So stick around. Welcome back. It's time for our featured guest segment here on A Shot at Business Central and a Beer. Today, Ken and I are raising our mugs to what could be one of the most important apps for Business Central, and it has to do with quality control. So to tell us about this new Quality Inspector app, we've got the mastermind behind it, Mark Hamblin from InsightWorks, on the show. Mark, how's everything going up there in Canada?
It's excellent, actually. Nice weather for once, and I like how you used the word mastermind with me, and it wasn't ironic for once. That's great. Thank you. I think it's overselling it, but I'll take what I can get.
Absolutely. As soon as I wrote that word, had you in mind, no doubt about it. But yeah, Ken and I, we're super excited to have you on the show. You're one of your most recent apps, the Quality Inspector app, has definitely been making some waves within the Business Central world and whatnot. Ken, I know that you've checked it out a lot and everything. What do you think about it?
Yeah, well, I thought it was really important to have Mark join us and talk about this app, just because, many companies who are running Business Central have inventory. They're receiving inventory, they're manufacturing things, and quality control is to some degree a part of everything they do. So yeah, and everyone's looking for some different level of quality control management in the system. So excited to have him join us and talk about how Mark, how long, tell us a little bit about like the backstory here. How long have you wanted to get something like this built, and what do you think some of the really big benefits are going to be for end users?
Yeah. I want to know why.
Why? Well, because people need it. As we just discussed, it's something that a lot of people, almost anybody that has inventory, has some requirement for inspection. Sometimes it's very informal type of inspection requirements, but everybody looks at what they've received or what they've produced to see if it's any good or not. Now, the Quality Inspector app allows you to do that in a much more formal way, of course. And to Ken's question there, really, we've actually had a quality module for quite a number of years, like 6 or 7 now, but it was built into our Shop Floor Insight product, where it was more meant for just recording, measurements and things like that during production, or when you output production. And it was pretty decent, but it was, a much more limited scope for what it could do. So the new Quality Inspector app, we started writing, last year, and released it earlier this year, I should say. And what that did was it really took what we had previously to sort of the next level, and made it really competitive with a lot of even, best of breed standalone QMS like quality management systems, because you're getting everything that's good in Business Central, along with now the ability to record inspection results and all sorts of things.
Now, you mentioned that this is already, well, you already have a quality inspection basically included with the shop floor insight. Is this going to be replacing that, or are they going to run concurrently with each other for different scenarios?
Yeah, good question. No, so for the short term, they're going to run concurrently, but we're replacing the one in shop floor with the new quality inspector application. So if you have shop floor and you have the existing quality module, you will get all the new goodies in quality inspector, and it'll be integrated just like the existing quality module in shop floor. The big advantage of the new module, though, is, again, it extends out beyond the production side of things. So you can do quality inspections on inbound receipts or fixed assets or people or outbound shipments or whatever you like. So we're not, constraining the inspection capability to, specific documents or specific things within the system. You can actually create an inspection on almost anything you like within Business Central. You can even create sort of an inspection on top of an inspection to allow you to sort of chain things together. So if I have a failed test, I can then create a corrective action report within the quality inspection module that's based on that failed test. So there's all sorts of things like that you can do as well.
Very, very nice.
Well, on this podcast, Mark, we always we ask the hard hitting questions. And so, part of, and Michael and I have talked this about other solutions and apps before, and that is like, how does Microsoft determine what they should or shouldn't include in the out of the box Business Central product? And there's certain things like maybe credit card or e-commerce that come to mind where there's maybe a lot of localization issues or integration issues that might make it more suitable for an ISV partner to take on in terms of building like a third-party app. Why do you think has Microsoft not directly invested in quality control as a standard feature in Business Central for the years?
Yeah, it's a good question. I suspect it's a matter of priorities, right? Where they're going to put their effort, and I'm hoping that they put a lot more effort into the manufacturing module within Business Central going forward. But that's traditionally where they've had what they have for quality is on the manufacturing side. So if you have base Business Central, you've got what they call the quality measures on the routings, which technically does let you record quality information for specific, operations and steps within your manufacturing process. And it's very, very basic, very minimal, but it's kind of there. It's one of those things. Can you do quality in Business Central? Checkbox, yes, because it's got quality measures. And I think for Microsoft's purposes, that's probably okay. For people that actually need to implement Business Central with quality, it's probably not good. But yeah, I suspect quality is a bit of a niche thing. I mean, everybody kind of needs it, but it's a lot of effort to build out a good quality module within the system. And my guess is they just have other focus areas for the time being. Would be nice if they had credit card processing in there, but I guess we'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
Any concern over the next year or two that Microsoft might build out their QC module in Business Central?
No, I'm not really worried about that. I mean, we see them sort of do that, implement functionality that ISVs have typically taken on. And really what it means is it's, just one more person in the ecosystem that's producing that type of application. And you let the best one win. And I have no concerns if Microsoft produces something. I mean, we'll have a lot more focus on how we address the problems that we've seen over the last 10 or 12 years in industry.
Nice. Yeah. I was watching the demo of the Quality Inspector app, and the integrations like with Teams and Business Central and even Power Automate are pretty phenomenal. So my question is, though, is this app built specifically for Business Central, or will it integrate with other ERP software?
No, like all of our other apps, it's specific to Business Central. I mean, we've decided we're going to focus on Business Central and really understand how it works and make the best use out of all the functionality it offers. We don't want to sort of dilute the capabilities or our understanding of the base platform by, moving up to SCM or any of those other ERP systems. So we do focus on BC. But as you said, we do integrate with the Power Platform and Teams and everything else through the QI module, and that whole concept of that broader integration is actually going to flow through all of our apps as well. But QI is a very good example of where those types of integrations with the Power Platform really pay some dividends.
Yeah, and speaking of that, in terms of that Power Platform, I also watched a pretty slick functionality with using Power Apps to kind of complete some tasks. And I know that historically when you go into Business Central, there's workflows, right? Within Business Central is what you're kind of building a lot of that on. But I think there's a lot of I don't know, cloudiness around like what's involved with building those. Kind of under the hood, right? Can you explain, like, did you guys have to do some work in Business Central to develop kind of the framework for those workflows to be created so easily?
Yeah, sure. I can go over that. So, and just for the listeners, what Ken is referring to is we can actually go in the quality inspection module, quality inspector module. Marketing guys are going to give me heck for calling it the wrong name. But you can actually go in there in the Business Central workflows, where you'd set up approval workflows and things like that. You can do workflows against quality inspection tests. So if a test fails or when a test is created or any of those sorts of things, we can execute specific actions. And to answer your question, yes, we have to go in there and there's a bunch of events and things like that that you need to subscribe to within Business Central to extend that workflow capability. So that when I go in there and I say, hey, trigger this workflow when a quality inspection test is created, well, we have to add that trigger into the system and manage that ourselves. But once that's done, it's pretty slick because, we've got two sort of somewhat competing and somewhat complementary tools for doing workflows. That's the built-in workflows and Power Automate. And the built-in workflows have some pretty neat advantages. They're a lot faster. They run sort of in the user's process, and they can be interactive. So they can pop up pages and pop up information and things like that as they run. Whereas Power Automate sort of runs behind the scenes to do typically more complex and comprehensive things, but you don't get that same level of user interaction you do with workflows.
Yeah. So speaking of that, if you had to pick, let's say, one major thing that separates your app and its capabilities from a different QC app, what do you think it might be? In my head, I think I know the answer that I would give, but obviously I don't know your app as well as you do. So what's the one thing that really sets you apart from the others?
Well, now I want to know your answer, but for me, I think it's the flexibility. I kind of mentioned it earlier. You can. I mean, we focus from a configuration perspective. We sort of highlight the ability to do inbound receipts and production QC tasks, but really it's flexible enough to assign checklists or tests or whatever you want across pretty much anything within Business Central. So people are using it for doing calibration on their fixed assets or fixed asset maintenance, right? Like a checklist for your fixed asset maintenance. We even have a customer that's using it for field service checklists. So it's very extensible. You can use it for anything within the system. But even if you just want to focus on, say, inbound receipts or the production side, it's extremely flexible in how you can define the information you're capturing. A lot of the systems out there, they assume you've got a low limit, a high limit, and you can grab a couple of different values in there and those sorts of things. It's quite constrained in what you can enter. We allow you to capture any information you like, look up lists, values, anything you want. And then we can either mark it as a pass fail, or we can actually assign a grade to those values that you've entered. So extremely flexible is the thing. that I would probably focus on. And sometimes flexibility means complexity. It's actually not that bad. It's actually very easy to create yourself a little entry form and say, hey, anytime I receive item A, I want to pop up this entry form for people to record the quality information on that specific item.
Great.
Yeah, from what I've seen, the software definitely isn't too complex to use. For the record, my answer was going to be, I think the integration is what I've seen that really sets you apart, right? The ability to use the Power Automate. I think the possibilities are endless with integrations like that. So, but that's just mine.
Well, that's true. You know, there aren't, and sort of to Ken's prior question, I mean, there's a lot of work that's done to integrate properly with Power Automate. Now, Power Automate can integrate with anything in Business Central for the most part, and the new Power Automate event subscriber stuff, like where you can trigger on specific events within Business Central, is going to be a bit of a game changer as well. But anyway, back to QI. You know, we've extended out Business Central to integrate very nicely with Power Automate, specifically for quality. So yes, you can make it do whatever you like. Anytime something happens in the QC world, we can trigger a workflow in Power Automate to generate documents, to send Teams messages, emails, you know, whatever the heck you want to do. So it does actually add a lot of value there too.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I think kind of along the lines of flexibility, like you mentioned, especially I guess, and maybe in the small to mid-sized market where you know, Business Central sits and you know, all the users are, you know, especially in quality, there's always certain people in the organization who, right, you want to have all this quality, you know, tracking in place, and maybe restrictions on your ability to do anything with the inventory until some tests have passed. But then, right, the real world hits, and all of a sudden, wait, we can't wait for quality to record these test results in the system. We need to move this over there and start using it right away. Is there that, in terms of flexibility, the ability to maybe track quality results in the system, but not require quality results before that item could be handled or used?
Are you asking if there's a way to bypass the system?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I'm speaking on behalf of our user community.
Yeah, so there is. I mean, it's up to you whether you want to restrict what's possible based on a test or not. So we have a configuration in there. There's actually a couple. There's one for individual users within the system where you can define what they're allowed to do within the inspector module, like functional permissions. Are allowed to edit tests or create tests or assign, you know, those types of things. And then based on the status of the test, you can do all sorts of things. Like, and typically it's based on lot numbers, not item numbers, because, you know, if you've got 1,000 items that were received over the last 10 months, and we need to block 10, we need to know specifically which 10 to block. But so typically it's based on lot numbers, but we can do things like prevent you from selling a specific lot number unless there's a past test for that specific lot number. Like if there's an in-progress test, maybe you're not allowed to sell it. But you could open that up and say, yes, you're actually allowed to sell that if the test is in progress, but you're not allowed to sell it if it's failed, those sorts of things. So sort of to more specifically answer your question, yes, you can allow the system to, or you can override the system to allow people to do whatever they want with a specific item, whether the test is passed or not. But the default is pretty granular. You can go in and allow specific transactions and disallow other transactions based on those inspection results.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, from an implementation standpoint, that is one of the first questions that comes up is, you know, someone's frustrated. Hey, we're shutting down production because I got to get this stuff there, but we got to wait for this guy. He's out sick today, right? So, you know, and that's the real world stuff where
exactly.
You need that flexibility in there.
Exactly. Yeah, we see that all the time in our shop floor where, you know, people say, hey, can we prevent somebody from starting the assembly operation if they haven't recorded that they've completed the welding operation? And our answer is, we don't prevent that, because if they physically got the stuff in front of them and they want to start work, why would we stop them? So yeah, there's the theoretical stuff and the practical stuff, and we tend to focus more on the practical aspects of it rather than what would be an ideal world.
Yeah.
And I love how you guys aren't saying this is how you should do quality control. It's more along the lines of, you have a process of doing quality control. We want to work with you and help you, I guess, maximize that process.
Yeah, that's a good point. I typically say, well, one of my favorite lines, because I think it makes me sound smarter than I am, is, you figure out what your best practice physical process is for doing something, warehouse management, quality inspection, production. You figure that out, and then you figure out what you need to do within Business Central to configure that to match that best practice. So that's what we focus on, right? We give you the tools to, match the solution that you've got in Business Central to what you actually want to do in the real world.
Yep. All right. So hopefully we've generated some interest here, and people are curious. Business Central Online, the app is published on AppSource, and free trial period available.
Yep, 30 days, and you can extend it if you need to, but 30 days is the default.
Yep. And are you able to share any pricing information with everyone? Everyone wants to know how much.
That is a good question. I believe it is, what is it? I actually don't recall. It's, and I will tell you, it's priced by company. It's not user-based pricing. So most of our stuff is not user-based. And I'm just checking here real quick. Yeah, it is $200 a month, or annual license is going to be a little bit less. That's what it is. Unlimited users, and you're set. So one price covers everything.
Wow.
Beautiful. Any prerequisites to installing the Quality Inspector app in Business Central?
None at all. None at all. It'll work with Essentials and Premium license, and again, work with anything you want to capture information for.
Okay, I'm excited. I think honestly, I think it's one of the better QC apps out there, if not the best QC app. So
That's good to hear.
yeah, just from what I've seen. So Ken, anything else for Mr. Mark?
No, I think we've used up enough of his time today. We appreciate you joining us. And yeah, we're excited to be, we're already talking to several people about this, and excited to start getting our hands dirty on it.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Always a pleasure talking to you guys, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks.
All right, we're back. We want to thank Mark Hamblin for a very interesting segment and helping us discuss quality control and their quality inspector app. It was very informative, and we Mark's been a guest on the show before, so we appreciate every time he comes on. He brings a lot of knowledge. All right, so it is time for, I guess, my favorite segment now, AI Snack Time, where we're going to talk about artificial intelligence in the world. But before that, I guess we get to talk about the hot topic that this is going to be. What is our snack?
Hot topic.
The hot topic.
Man, you're hot today.
Oh, I'm very hot today.
Yeah, no, we're drinking. We're drinking. We are eating some Blue Diamond almonds. These are the extreme ghost pepper almonds. So, when you hear the word ghost pepper, usually you think that's got to be pretty hot. So,
Well, yeah.
Although it says 3 out of 4 flames on the front of the container. So I'm thinking that they actually have a hotter variety than the ghost pepper version. So we'll see. This shouldn't be too hot, but neither of us have dipped into our snack yet during AI snack time segment.
I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. So
Can you watch me?
Yeah, we're here to talk AI. So we've got a couple exciting stories for you coming up here. Microsoft news, a little bit of Google news, and then kind of want to talk a little bit about the chip wars that seem to play such a big role in what companies are doing with AI here. So how's it going so far for you over there with the spice?
Well, on a scale of 1 to 100 of beads of sweat. No, it's actually Not even close to as hot as I thought. Not even close. It does have some kick. I was worried about swallowing it if my throat was going to swell up or whatnot, but it's
You might
not.
have to give it a minute or two, maybe a couple more minutes. I don't know, but
I
maybe
mean,
not.
it's got some spice to it. There's no doubt about it. But when I hear ghost pepper, I'm like, oh my God, you touch it and that's it. You can't ever have any more. Everything on your body swelling up that touched it, whatever. So, you know, it's actually very tasty. But between that and the beer, I'm getting pretty hot all of a sudden. All right. So let's talk AI. What do we got here? I got Microsoft has announced a new AI-powered shopping tools for Bing and Edge. These tools include like an AI chatbot that assists users in finding products and deals while shopping online. Pretty nice. Should make shopping maybe a little bit easier, especially with the upcoming holiday season in the next. Well, you got Halloween, which is like a holiday season for people, right? And then you got the holidays. See what else Microsoft's got.
So let's dive down on that a little bit. So AI is going to make my internet shopping easier.
Here we go.
So I want to flash you. I want to get in the time machine, and let's flash backwards, maybe 15, 20 years.
Okay. Y2K.
Well, the holidays come around. I've got a long list of gifts that I have to go out and get all of my families and friends and loved ones and significant others. And first of all, I got to figure out what I'm going to get them. Then I got to figure out, okay, when am I going to find a window of time? I got to go to all these stores.
Mm-hmm.
I got to drive there. I got to see if they've got it. I hope they have it in stock. If they don't have it in stock, I got to go somewhere else and get it. Maybe I can call them on the phone, call a couple places, see if they have it. That's always a good time. Calling a retail store and asking them if they have something on the shelf there. That's fun. And then I discovered internet shopping. And in under an hour, I found I was able to go out on the internet, find what I want, put in my credit card, put in my address, hit purchase. And then in an hour, I had all my shopping done.
Okay.
And I didn't have to get in my car. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to do anything. All those boxes just started showing up on my porch.
Okay.
So if I look at the incremental gain between pre-internet shopping to internet shopping.
Yep.
And now from where I'm at now with internet shopping to AI enhanced shopping, what do you think that's going to be a big improvement?
Well, I think you're assuming people already have their shopping lists made out. Maybe AI is for the person, the husband who's trying to buy the last minute gift for the wife of 20 years or whatnot, and they have no idea what to buy that person. So they go on there and they say, married for 20 years, what are some things that I can buy my wife? Maybe it pops up 30 things you can shop for right there. I don't know.
That may be true, but I think anyone that's been married for 20 years, if they've waited until that last minute, I think we all know that you're going to just have to pay the penalty for not taking action sooner.
Absolutely.
And get that expensive necklace or bracelet that is triple the amount that you could have probably gotten away with spending. But because you were an idiot and you waited, you're going to have to suck it up and splurge on that expensive piece of jewelry.
Maybe AI searches the internet for you and finds that piece of jewelry and finds it at 10 other places to price compare for you. I don't know. All I know is the possibilities with AI are endless. Let's see what it says though here. It says, assists users in finding products and deals while shopping online. So,
all right.
Additionally, Bing will now provide personalized shopping recommendations based on user preferences and browsing history, enhancing the shopping experience for users. So if it looks over your stuff for the last 10 years and it realizes that you primarily buy shoes and chocolates, it'll just start recommending them maybe. I don't know.
Pigeonhole me, huh?
Yeah.
based on your history, it looks like all you do is wear shoes and eat chocolate. So here's some more.
Well, if that's all you buy online, here's some more. Which they kind of do now, right? But you got to pay for those ads.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got from Microsoft AI news. Microsoft announced a $30 per month AI-powered premium version of Microsoft 365. So for $30 a month, enterprise software users get Copilot, a premium cost version of its 365 subscription. Plus you get the added Bing AI search. You have to pay for that now.
Yeah.
Too, though.
So this is where, when ChatGPT first came out in Bing search, and people were doing all kinds of stupid crap with putting in poems and write me a song or whatever.
Yeah.
You're just a lot of people probably are wondering, okay, so what? Right? What does that mean? Well, this is what that means. This is Microsoft monetizing AI.
Mm-hmm.
They're branding it around a product or brand called Copilot, where they're introducing new SKUs inside of the existing product subscriptions, where now you can get this embedded functionality with AI in there into these different products, right?
It also gives you, so right now, if you're using the free version like ChatGTP, it's ChatGTP or GPT version 3.5. The paid version is like 4.0, which allows you to pull data from, 100 times more sources than what 3.5 is. So you're also paying for that too. All right. Microsoft has invested $13 billion in OpenAI. So let's see, Microsoft is well positioned due to its significant investments in AI research and development. It extends across various products and services, Azure, Office, Bing, blah, 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 blah. Oh, they're also investing in ethical AI development, which is also a good thing. And they're looking to strengthen themselves, obviously, as a key player in the future of AI technology. So for $13 billion, there's a lot of money to be invested already in OpenAI. I'm not sure what the other, big four tech companies have invested, but
yeah,
it's up there.
Yeah, and this is going to kind of tie into my topic next on chips, but I think, right, we're at the front end of this kind of quote arms race, where these large, huge, mega companies are investing in the technology, right, for AI to gain market share at the very start, and kind of, right, because it's kind of there's a huge upfront investment, right, in technology and servers.
If you're first, you're winning.
And to establish, right, a product or set of products that companies can use. I saw another story in the news where companies are now creating, I forget who it was, creating basically an enterprise type subscription for large organizations to kind of host their own AI engines on their platforms.
Their own AI engines.
Yeah, so if you're a large,
so basically they're white elephanting.
I'm like a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah, I
can kind of go with OpenAI. That's what it was. With OpenAI, I can kind of subscribe to my own private cloud, enterprise cloud, feed my own data into it, and then use that for my company to do whatever it is I need it to do.
It's interesting.
Right? So it's not going to be part of this huge global AI data set that gets used by everyone all over the place, but it's my own company's AI engine that's out.
Yeah.
I
kind of think though you're limiting the power of AI by doing that.
Well,
right, because that's only going to apply to specific job functions that require.
Right, for sure. So there's certain types of data, customer type data that's in there, customer service data, call center data, whatever it is that gets in there. But yeah, it's going to be more for specific type of applications. But I think the reason that it's something that's viable is because security and access, don't think that's not on people's minds. Where is my data going, and who has access to it, and how is it being used? Companies, Fortune 500 company, that a pharmaceutical company, for example, You think they want 1.0001% chance that someone outside their organization can get access to their proprietary data,
Oh, yeah.
right?
They want no part of that.
Military products, technology, chip companies. I
Yeah.
mean,
But I mean, is it really artificial intelligence then, or is it more just like a data bank? I guess,
well, it's both.
yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of yeah.
Interesting though. But yeah, I think you're really limiting the possibilities of AI then. Right. All right. Oh, here's an interesting topic. Microsoft's president says AI needs human control to avoid being weaponized. Not know about you, but when humans are worried about AI weaponizing itself and suggest that humans need to control it so that it doesn't be weaponized, that'll make you think twice.
Yeah, because humans have never weaponized anything ever.
We don't know what weapons are. Come on now. But I think it's kind of scary. It's also interesting. Two things. One, well, first being, how is Microsoft or any of these other big tech companies going to control AI? How do you not make humans biased towards something? Even if you're out to get humans to control something and don't want to weaponize it, thank you, sir. You're always going to find somebody who sees the dark side and says, you know what? Maybe I can do something with this. Maybe I can sell this software to, some other country that wants to do something with it. So I don't know. It's scary, but
yeah. Well, I mean, they already have human what do you call it? Controls or limits on what it can do, right? They've programmed it. Everyone's heard the stories about years ago when they first came out with AI, that it started saying things and doing things that were deemed to be outside of the, like what was socially acceptable.
Oh yeah.
Because of, right? It's just on its
learning.
own.
Yeah, it's learning, yeah.
Right? So they had to add in some sort of curbs or controls on what it would or wouldn't do based on, right? So
I'll give you an example. So recently, I'm not exactly sure which company it was, but they created an AI thing, and they basically limited AI to a certain database of information. And they're asking it questions, and everything was in English. And out of nowhere, they said, like, and this may not be the right language, but they said, can you give us this answer to this question in Bulgarian? Just to see what would happen, right? Because it knows nothing but English. And it was actually able to speak Bulgarian, and they have no idea how that happened. So even when you place these human controls on AI, are they going to work? I mean, I don't know. How fast does AI infiltrate other servers and whatnot to where you turn it off on one, but it's already uploaded to another one by itself and you have no idea? Who knows?
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah, and I just kind of wanted to touch a little bit on kind of the chip companies. I mean, if you see them in the news, if you follow the stock market, all right, like Nvidia is a chip
Big
manufacturer. They were always big in over the last 10 years in gaming chips because of their graphics, the graphics capabilities that they have in their chips. And obviously they make a special type of chip that is highly suitable and for AI, very powerful chips that these AI companies need. So they have almost kind of become like this bottleneck on AI scalability because they can only produce so many of these chips at once. These chips have to get allocated out to these different companies, driving up the price, right, of what it costs to build out this infrastructure.
Yeah.
So, although possibly everyone thought AI could roll out super quickly, there is a limit because they need extremely high-powered servers and processors to crunch this data and spit out these results as quickly as they are. So as it scales, you need more and more of these chips and more of these, and there's only right now, I believe, NVIDIA and maybe AMD and Intel are producing chips, but they're not quite at the level at this point. It's going to take 1 to 2 years for those companies
Really?
they're working on developing chips to get to that similar level that NVIDIA's are at today. Of course, NVIDIA will probably continue to develop their own chips, right? So these are called, like, there's like H100 or A100 chips or something that NVIDIA produces. And there's a huge demand for these. I think the US government recently just announced that they're trying to put in place or thinking about putting in place some export limitations on these chips to certain regions or countries around the world.
Hey,
right?
we developed it. We get first shot.
So if these companies are based in the United States, for example, NVIDIA, right?
Well, if AI is going to be as powerful as they say it is, I would imagine that they're obviously going to put restrictions on who has access to it in different countries or
Right.
whatnot.
Yeah. So it kind of almost becomes, I mean, if the user demand is out there right now, like people believe it is, then what it's coming down to is which companies can get these chips and the most of these the most quickly and get them deployed so that they can expand their AI capabilities into more products, more features, more functionality, right? So you kind of have to have that. Now, again, hopefully these other companies are probably, I mean, we're not talking about decades here, right? I'm sure AMD, Intel, or other chip manufacturers within 12, 24 months, they're probably going to have similar functionality. And so that's going to kind of level off a little bit, that the huge demand for those.
Yeah. So if you had to say, so if I ask you right now, what percentage, how can I word this right? Think of AI in its total full capacity, however many years down the road. What percentage do you think we're at right now with AI?
I mean, 5. I mean, you want it's a low number.
You think it's low?
Very low. Yeah. Less than 5%.
Which is
maybe much lower than
crazy
5.
to think about, right?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not using it an extreme amount in my life. I mean, maybe all that marketing content you're throwing out on the internet right now is generated based on by AI. But in my daily life, I mean, I think every consumer out there probably has apps on their phone that are behind the scenes using AI that we don't even realize, right?
I would say in the last year, my AI usage compared to the year before is probably, I don't know, 20,000% more. I don't even know if I was using it 2 years ago. I can't remember when ChatGPT. So it wasn't. It's only been
You're an early adopter.
8-9 months, right, for ChatGPT?
You're an early adopter, though.
Oh yeah, with technology for sure.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are now.
If you kind of have, if you recall back to your statistics class that you didn't pay attention to in high school or college, right? You've got the bell curve.
Yeah.
Where you have on each side, you've got whatever 5% and of early adopters and 5% extreme late adopters, and kind of in that middle is the big bell curve.
Yeah.
That's where most people sit in the middle. 65% is the one standard deviation, I think they call it.
Nice.
That's where most people sit. You're in the two deviations out towards the early adopter, right? But I think we're getting closer and closer to that mass use thing. I don't think we're there yet. Most people are not aware or using AI intentionally in their life or job on a regular basis today.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'd say it's probably around 20%.
20?
Yeah,
no
people
way.
Using AI regularly?
Intentionally?
You don't think so?
Knowingly? I think that's 5% or less.
Really?
Of humans on Earth.
Well, let's look at our company, right? You think developers are using it, right?
Michael, we work for a technology company.
So that doesn't count. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many school teachers are using it. I would imagine it actually would probably be really beneficial for school teachers for certain things. I don't know.
Says the guy that works at the technology company.
All right, well, how about this then? Google you can now add an option to Google when you search for something. Like if you say, what is the best ERP software? You know, usually you'd get a whole bunch of different companies.
Business Central.
Right, absolutely. You know, but usually you'd get a bunch of companies, you'd get your ads on top for NetSuite, whatever it is, and then, you know, company pages below. Now it'll actually answer the question. Well, I don't know if it'll answer that specific question, but whatever question it answers, it gives a reference to and shows you where it pulled its information from to answer the question. So most people use Google besides some of these Bing people around here. And
Guilty.
right, but most people are actually going to end up using AI before they even know it. So it's going to be pretty interesting. I like it. And then speaking of AI, though, I also saw this thing about buildings and fires. They started a fire in a building, so they have an AI infused sprinkler system, power hose, the whole 9 yards. So they started a fire in a building. Instead of the sprinkler system going on throughout the whole building, everybody evacuating and the whole building getting ravaged by fire, this pretty big fire, AI detected it within like 30 seconds, turned on this high powered pressure hose and put this huge fire out literally within like a minute. So we talked about it earlier, but we're taking away jobs from firemen and fire people.
And some people would consider that a good thing.
Right. But
Saving lives, saving personal property from destruction.
absolutely. But it just goes to show you that the possibilities for AI are endless. Whatever you can think, we're going to get to the point, whatever you can think of with AI, you're going to be able to do. So, all right, let's talk about, you got anything else for AI?
No, although I just did ask Google what is the best ERP software, and I don't think it's a coincidence that I didn't see Business Central come up at the top of the list.
Did you have the AI thing on it where it answered it?
No, but you know, Google, Google and Microsoft not exactly best
Right.
friends.
All right, so mine says generating. It says ERP software can help businesses of all sizes solve business problems. Here are some popular ERP software options. Oh, NetSuite, Acumatica, Microsoft Dynamics 365. But I don't know. Here, I'll show you. It tells you, gives you the answer, and then it tells you where it gets it from. And you can actually click the link and find out.
Oh, look at that. So that's a little bit of transparency there.
Right. So it's actually really nice. It's just this whole section here is now
And
generated.
Is it NetSuite that's telling you that NetSuite is the best product?
Let's see. No, research.com.
Oh,
But it's not saying NetSuite's the best product. It doesn't put them in any type of order. It gives you, like, for Business Central or Dynamics 365, it's pulling it from, I don't know, some site, softwaretestinghelp.com.
yeah. I mean, these both sound like garbage sites to me. You know,
They might be.
so it sounds like a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, I don't know the background on what, if they look at certain domain authority or whatnot. Actually, this site looks pretty good. Software testing help. But anyway, it's just showing what's popular and what's not. But it's a step in the right direction. I want to know where my information's coming from.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the
Why am
most
I supposed to trust AI?
That's the most important thing when it gives you an answer. What sources did you use, especially if you're looking for some sort of technical information or data?
Yeah.
Where did it get this from?
So Google, I think, just took a quick leap into the game, which what I believe Microsoft was dominating. So
Well, this was fun. Hopefully,
we're gonna talk about these ghost pepper.
hopefully you're not sweating too badly
I
here.
was sweating. I broke out the handkerchief, but I'm okay now. But I was getting hot. All right, we gotta rate some beer too.
Yeah, of course.
How'd you like the beer? Actually, how'd you like the ghost pepper?
I like the ghost pepper nuts. I agree. I think it is a 3 out of 4 flames.
I don't even know if I go that high.
It's not extreme, right? 4 out of 4 is would have been better, for sure.
I think I give it a 2 out of 4 for flames for heat.
Yeah, it was not great. But I mean, I don't know. I like spicy food, so I think it's got a good kick to it.
It's got good flavor too.
Yeah, good flavor, smoky, kind of a good smoky flavor. So
So on the beer, I'll go first. Citrusy, very coconutty. I think it'd be a lot better if they removed the coconut or maybe toned down the coconut. Let's take another sip here. It's getting a little bit more mellow. I'm gonna go 74. Give it a good solid 74. I like it. I don't love it. I think it has I'm not a big coconut fan. I think it just has a little bit too much coconut for my liking.
yeah, I'm gonna go exactly at a 71. And I'm just kind of looking at. Actually, I take that back. I'm gonna go 67.
Oh,
I'm gonna go. Oh, not a huge.
Look out.
I'm just looking at my list here, my cheat sheet. And I'm kind of thinking like, where should this fit here? Like, for example, if I had this or a summer shandy from Leinenkugel's, I think I'd get the Leinenkugel's summer shandy.
I think so too.
And that was a 70. So I gotta go
pretty low.
a notch down below that. So
That's pretty low. What's your go-to summertime beer then?
Go-to summertime beer, it would be if I was looking for something light, I would probably go Corona Light with a lime.
It's good beer. I don't know if we've had Corona Light on the show.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right. We've had Corona.
Yeah.
But probably I think Corona Light with a lime.
Why is it acceptable to put limes in Mexican beers, but not limes in any other beers?
It's racist.
Why is it acceptable?
I don't know. I don't know. The theory of the fruit in the beer was a thing back in the day when sailors would come into port. They would be battling, right? It was to fight off scurvy because they didn't get a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables or whatever vitamins are part of citrus fruits. So they would come into port. First place they would head would be the bar. And they would squeeze a slice of lime or lemon or orange into their beer and throw it in the beer so they can get a little bit of vitamins.
You just make that up on the spot, or is that like an old college tale?
You'll have to see for yourself.
I've never heard that story, but it does sound like it could be true, but I don't know.
Why is that only, I don't know, maybe it's not just Mexican beer, maybe it's more of a climate, equatorial type thing around
Well, I think I read
where
once,
it's hot island countries or Central America.
I think I read once where Blue Moon was actually designed for, I want to say it was also designed for a lime, but then when the owner tried it, he's like, no, but then he had to find something to actually put in it. He was dead set on putting something in it. And he obviously ended up with putting oranges in it, but I don't know. I've actually tried Miller Lite with a lime, and it tastes better. It really does.
Yeah, you know what?
But you might get beat up for it.
Put a little bit of salt in there. It tastes even better.
Yeah. Doesn't it make it fizz or something?
A little bit. Yeah, right when you pour it in, it fizzes up a little bit, but it just adds some really good flavor to it. Add a little salt in it.
Have to check it out. All right, we got our ratings. Everything is set. We appreciate everybody for listening. And as always, share the podcast, like the podcast, all that good stuff. We'll be back next month. And Ken, take us home.
Bye.
As we end today's podcast, we want to give a big thank you to everyone who listens, shares this podcast, and leaves us reviews. You've taken a good amount of your time out of your day, and we truly appreciate it. Thanks again. And don't be afraid to email us at marketing@solsyst.com with your tips for the podcast, or maybe you'd even like to be a guest during an episode.